What's going on, film fans? Welcome back to our channel, The Usual Skeptics. We're talking about movies, trailers, entertainment, all that kind of good stuff. And speaking of trailers, we just got the new official Thor trailer. And joining me, obviously, is Wesley Rathbone. How you doing, buddy?
Doing fantastic after that trailer. So I can't wait to talk to you about it. So if you want to, let's dive right into it.
Dude, exactly. Let's just dive right in. I'm not wasting any more time. I mean, we haven't talked about the trailer. We haven't talked about what we liked or disliked about it. But dude, let me tell you, I was so giddy just waiting and constantly checking my phone. When's it dropping? When's it dropping? When's it dropping? Now I do want to say this. Just before, and we haven't talked about this. When Chris Hemsworth, he tweeted out or whatever, said something yesterday, I believe, or over the weekend at least, of this trailer is going to blow your minds. And at first I'm like, you want to be excited, it's MCU, it's Thor, it's Chris Hemsworth, such a good, charismatic, funny, handsome dude. And you hear that comment and I'm like, why is everybody running stories on this? It's kind of like Perry White in Man of Steel. Breaking news, water wet. Breaking news, actor says project that they're in is good or will blow your mind. So I thought that was a little like, really? Why are people running with this? But dude, we seen the trailer. And yeah, I'm still trying to process this, to be honest with you. I'm going to send it to you for a second. Let me send it to you. What did you think about it? Just initial thoughts.
Okay, so initial thought, mind blown. I didn't know how they were going to portray Christian Bale's character, but wow, man, he looked so like maniacal and menacing and just so great. My jaw was on the floor whenever I watched it. I was just like, are you kidding me? And then on top of that, just the catchy one-liners just in the trailer, you know what I mean? And I mean, getting to see Zeus for the first time and all these things, like
seeing Russell Crowe in general is just a treasure. But yeah, oh my God. But yes, continue. Yes.
Yeah. So, talking about the opening sequence where it's like, oh, ex-girlfriend, bro, and then she's sitting there and he's like, she's like, oh, what's it been, 4 years? It's like 8 years, blah blah blah, blah.
Like, the exact, like, to the day exact 8 years 7 months 9 days or whatever. Dude, it's so good, so full good. Of one-liners. Yeah. What you talked a little bit about your pros of the trailer. What is, because I might surprise you here, but what is your, don't know how to put this, what's your kind of, did you see any negatives on your end? I mean, did you see anything in there that you were like, yeah, it didn't work for me? I mean, was this the best trailer you've seen all year? I mean, we're halfway through 2022 already. So you tell me, was this the best trailer you've seen all year?
Probably not the best trailer I've seen all year. I think that the No Way Home trailer for Spider-Man was probably the best one that I've seen.
So good.
But that being said, this was my number 2. I mean, and I only watched it one time and then got on here with you and I'm like, we got to talk about it.
Same. I did too. Yeah.
So now whenever I rewatch it, I may see some things, but I was so excited, just the initial excitement about seeing everything. I just kind of, didn't take everything in yet, but I'm sure there'll be some that I'm like, but at the moment I don't have any. But I'm curious to see what you have. So what was your little nitpick?
Because I have one.
Always have nitpicks, but it's okay. Like I love hearing them.
You love hearing them.
Go ahead.
So love the trailer, by the way. Love the trailer. I mean, not the best trailer we've ever seen for a comic book movie. Again, why would you go into a trailer hoping, but I heard the stars say it was going to blow your mind. Okay, well, whatever. But, preface this by saying I love the trailer. I did. I loved every single bit of it. There is one shot in the trailer. I might feel different in the movie. Again, you and I have not discussed this. This is the first time we're talking about it. So I might surprise you here. But the one negative to me would have to be the shot. I should have got a screen grab of this, and for that I do apologize. Should have been better prepared here, but there hasn't been any official images from the trailer released, and but anyway, my one negative with this trailer is, again, might feel different in the final cut, in the theatrical cut here, but the shot with Thor wearing that giant gold helmet, it felt a little too, I don't know. I don't want to say Jack Kirby, but it felt a little too mystical, if that makes sense. Like it just didn't, to me, just didn't fit with the whole tone of not the trailer, but as a movie as a whole. I mean, the tone that we're going to get in this, I think it's going to be very similar and very reminiscent of that we've seen in Thor Ragnarok, because it's the same director, almost the same entire cast, just without Ruffalo, and you add Portman in there. So with the added on to that helmet, it just something about it just fell off to me. Again, I could have a different opinion once we see the film. It might not bother me, but if I'm going to be honest, just because it's MCU doesn't mean it's perfect. To me, that's the one thing I kind of went, oh, okay. But the rest of the trailer I thought was great. I don't know. How about you? Did you have a similar feeling?
With that, I can agree with that. I completely forgot about that part. But yeah, I was kind of like, what that looks sort it looks sort of like,
yeah.
It looks sort of like a old school Wolverine mask to me.
Yeah. Felt a little too comic booky. That's the word.
Yeah,
I was
a little bit too much comical,
yeah.
like than what we're used to seeing him in. I've seen him in a helmet. That's not the helmet I've seen him in.
That first helmet in Thor 1, that looked awesome. That first,
it looked great.
I mean, that Kenneth Branagh Thor film, which I think that's an underrated comic book movie in general. I mean, it's straight up Shakespeare, that movie. I don't know why it gets crap to this day, but I don't care. That Thor's freaking awesome. But I get why they've done away with the helmet. Gets in the way of the actor's performance and all that kind of stuff. I get that. I feel that. But if we're talking, do I think he's going to have the helmet the entire film? No. He might have it for just that scene and when he sees Jane, because they're making it assume that, they're making us assume that that's the first time Thor sees Jane as Mighty Thor. So maybe then he'll get rid of I don't know. But no, I don't think it's going to make a significant... Look, is the helmet going to make the film good or bad? No, it's not. But we're talking about the trailer specifically on what the things we liked and disliked. And for me, to be honest, and we'll get to gore here in just a second. But if we're talking about negatives, just to get that out of the way, I love the tone of it and all that kind of stuff. But the helmet just felt a little too much. However, they're coming out with, I would say, at least several hot toys from this movie just with Thor alone. So and I'm hearing kind of some hate on the blue gold kind of costume that he's got going on. I actually dig it. I think it looks pretty dope, and I think it works very well and translates well on screen, in my opinion. Now, I'm a fan of, and I mentioned this before on my TikTok, which you can find here at Voice of Film, by the way. But I mentioned back when I did a video of that, image of, they're in the woods with Mighty Thor and Thor, and it's kind of showing off their new suits. And people were complaining about the desaturated, or not the desaturated, but the oversaturated, I should say, look of the costumes, and especially Thor, because we're not used to seeing him in such a vibrant costume, vibrant colors. And to me, I think it works very well. I think Chris Hemsworth pulls it off. I think it works well on camera. I think it works great, and I think it makes for a good hot toy. We're going to talk about a lot about hot toys here on this channel, by the way.
But I think that color scheme is what's gonna, like, it's integrated into the movie. I mean, I don't think
that's what I'm saying.
Out of pocket. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you do either. Yeah. And we've seen Thor with different helmets on. I mean, if you look at Thor Ragnarok, whenever he was fighting in the arena, he had that really cool helmet that he had,
and we pulled the ears down. Yeah. That was pretty dope.
That was dope too. Yeah. But this one just, I don't know, it really didn't do it for me, and I like, thank you for reminding me of that. I was so interested in
Yeah.
the other aspects of it that, but
Oh, the good definitely
whenever I
outweighed the
watch it
bad.
back,
Yeah.
yeah, whenever
Yeah.
I watch it back, that's probably like that's one of the things that I can say that I was just like, what kind of helmet is
Right.
that? But in the scheme of things, I was just so interested in the whole
Same here.
entirety of it.
Yeah. No, same here.
So
And again, this is number one, is the helmet going to make the movie good or bad? The answer is no. Could we change our opinion once we see the movie and be like, oh, that helmet was awesome? At the end of the day, does it matter? No. But we may change our minds once we see the film. Again, this is just our thoughts based on the trailer. Now, with the negatives out of the way, that's all I can think of. I've seen the trailer once. Who knows? Maybe I'll come out with 3 or 4 more things that didn't really sit well with me. Okay, let's talk about the good. Now that that's out of the way, I want to save gore for the last minute here because
that's
I know
fine. That's
it's what
fine. We can
everyone
save
wants
more
to
for the
talk
last
about.
minute.
That's what everyone wants to talk about. I want to talk about the cinematography for a minute. The camera shots, the I know it's too early to tell because we haven't seen a full scene, but it seems like the blocking of the actors and this action set pieces and everything looks great. Now I'm going to mention gore just for a second there, but there's a couple shots of a going back to talking about saturation and desaturation with the MCU films is there's a shot of gore where he's the all white and kind of got a little black splash in there, and then you have Valkyrie and she's all full color. I thought that looked pretty good, and I
That
believe,
looks
correct me, I
awesome.
may be wrong, but again, I've only seen it once. And I think there was a shot of Thor. It was the same way when Thor
It was
shows
black
up.
and white.
Was it black and white?
At the
Okay,
very end,
at the
it
very
was at
end.
the
Yeah, yeah,
very
yeah.
end
Okay.
whenever they're standing across from each other and he just does this
Oh,
number.
dude. Oh, I kind of got Matrix vibes from that. Anytime I see
Yeah.
someone do this, I'm like, that's Neo or
I
Matrix.
got the rock vibes. You know what I'm saying? Just bring it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
just raise that eyebrow.
that was a great scene in the
Oh,
cinematography. Like whenever he's first telling the story at the
yeah.
very beginning of it, and he walks in and that you see the big skeletal remains of whatever it is and the chains and stuff. I was just like, man, I cannot wait to see how this plays out.
That was
You
taken
know what I
right from
mean?
a comic, by the way. That image, and I didn't know that. I believe that was in the Jason Aaron run of Mighty Thor. Again, I could be
Oh,
wrong,
sweet.
but there was that shot that you're talking about with the dragon, with the its body kind of just laying there, covered in snow. That shot is actually pulled about straight from the comic, which I thought was a pretty cool choice. So now we got the cinematography out of the way. The color scheme looks great. It's all vibrant colors that we're used to as far as comparing it to Thor Ragnarok. And one of the other things I want to talk about is the comedy. Now, Taika Waititi, I will sing the praises and I will preach the gospel of What We Do in the Shadows. If y'all have not seen What We Do in the Shadows, which is what got Taika Waititi the Thor Ragnarok gig, oh my God, do yourself a favor. It's so good. Anyway, Taika went on to do Ragnarok, which I believe we talked about this before. Ragnarok is probably the one of the darkest, if not the darkest MCU film. I mean, with all the comedy in there and all that levity, there's also darkness. There's also adult themes. There's also moments of this is pretty messed up. In Ragnarok,
Yeah.
Thor loses his eye, his hammer. He has to kill his sister.
Yeah.
Loki plotted against him again. He lost his dad. He lost Asgard. And by the end of the
There was a
movie, he
lot.
faces off with Thanos. There was so much to deal with. But yet Taika knows how to come in there and do those funny lines with Hulk busting out in the arena and Thor's like, yes, Taika knows how to do that. And then he comes in with an Academy Award win for this, by the way, but it was Jojo Rabbit. Dude, that movie, as funny as it was, it had a lot more dramatic moments. And I think we're going to get something really special here. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think there's, something special that we're going to see as far as, is Taika going to tap back into that storytelling that he likes to do as far as, kind of balancing out the drama and comedy? What do you think?
Taika Waititi is a genius. Um, dude, that oh man, those two movies that you're talking about, like he said, if you haven't went and seen them, do yourself a favor. They are amazing films. But I think that we're going to get a gem whenever it comes to this movie. I mean, just like we were talking about before, whenever Thor knows exactly how long it's been since he's seen Jane, the fact that, the first time he sees his hammer, he reaches out for it, and then it doesn't come to him.
It comes to him and is like, whoop.
Yeah,
that was a good shot.
There.
That was a good shot. Yeah.
Just to see those reactions. Whenever Jane's like, this isn't my first fight, as she's walking off from, you know what I mean? From killing all those guys like that, from what I expect, we don't even know if that's the right, scene.
Oh yeah, they know how to mislead us. Oh yeah, and that could very well happen off screen. I don't think it would. I think we're going to see her in action quite a bit, probably even more so than Thor, even though this is his movie. I don't predict now. Taika Waititi, he's such a talented filmmaker enough that he knows how to balance characters, because to me, he's 3 for 3. I mean, what he can do with What We Do in the Shadows, Thor Ragnarok, Jojo Rabbit. I think Jojo Rabbit's a better movie than Thor Ragnarok, but to me, Thor Ragnarok's one of the best MCU films. I mean, just talking about overall. I mean, it's thematic elements and comedy and drama and all that kind of mixed in one outcome. Thor Ragnarok. I think once I seen Ragnarok, I'm like, Taika's coming back to do another film. Yeah. It's just too good. Same thing with Sam Raimi. I know Multiverse Madness is quite divisive right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Raimi's coming back, just because. And why that's relevant to what we're talking about is I think it's important to know that, Kevin Feige's seen something special in Taika Waititi. And for him to come back again and do a film like this, I think it's going to be bigger. I think it's MCU, so it's going to have repercussions moving forward. What I don't want to see, here's one hesitation that I have going into Thor Ragnarok, Love and Thunder, is one of my hesitations of this, and maybe I shouldn't be too worried about this, because even though I do trust Taika Waititi, it has been done before, and we've seen her prominently in the trailers so far. Now we have 2 trailers. We've seen some images. She's forefront and center, at least in most of them. What I don't want to happen is Jane come in, and I'm okay with her stealing a scene. I'm okay with her stealing a moment, but this movie's called Thor. It's not called Jane, Mighty Thor. Now you can argue that, oh, well, she's Mighty Thor, so this Thor movie is referencing her. I don't know if I'm going to like that. They're marketing this to be a Thor Odinson film. It is the part 4 of his solo films. I think that I'm going to be wrong. I mean, but that's just one of my fears kind of going in. I don't know. What do you feel about it? Do you think that she's gonna steal the show, or do you think Taika has the appropriate talent and mindset to keep him forefront and center?
So Taika Waititi, like I said, is very good at what he does. I think that Natalie Portman and her character are going to have a huge impact on the film. I mean, it is called Love and Thunder, but I think at the forefront of everything, he will be able to put Thor in that position. I don't think that she's going to I don't think it's going to take away. I think that it's going to mesh well together. One of the things we talked about that I think is going to be most interesting and awesome to see is seeing, Valkyrie and, Jane kick some butt, man, on screen together. You know what I mean? Sure. I think that that's going to be amazing. And with all 3 of them on screen doing that, I really don't think that it's going to pull away. I think he has a very, very good talent of knowing what the vision is and what is going to, push us to the forefront of Phase 4. You know what I mean? I don't think that this is going to set up a whole, heck of a lot, but I think that this is going to push Thor's story forward. in
Right.
order to get through phase 4. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and I can see that. So I think we're in agreement there that we believe Taika can balance those elements because there has, this is now the fourth time, maybe third or fourth time that Jane has been, forefront. And I know it's a marketing thing, and I know they're trying to reintroduce the character because it is technically a new character. I mean, yes, she's Jane, but if they pull anything from the Mighty Thor run, she is going to be different in some aspects. I mean, she can wield Mjolnir, so where did that come from? So
Right.
I think we're all in agreement there. So we got our negatives out of the way. We talked about cinematography. We talked about how awesome everybody looked. Let's talk about what everybody's been waiting for and talk about gore.
Can't wait.
Tell me your just initial thoughts. So what do you think about gore?
Bro, I told you whenever I was watching it, I had no idea because no, they've not had really anything that's come out showing what Christian Bale's going to look like.
Other
There
than
was
the
some
toy release,
the toys. I was
yeah,
about to
yeah,
say,
yeah,
yeah, they had some toys come out, and I was like, okay, like let's just see, bro. It blew me away, man. Like he came on
yeah,
screen, and I was like, this looks awesome. I mean, I'm a horror excuse me, I'm a horror fan, and seeing him for the first time whenever he takes that, hood off, and the black in his teeth, but they're,
dude,
it just,
it's
and just
haunting.
his scars
Yeah,
and everything that he's got on his head.
yep,
It's amazing. Like jaw on floor. I was like, he looks so cool. Like, I
yeah.
don't get a lot of hot toys, bro. Like, I don't get any. I have no hot toys,
I have not. I have a lot.
bro. I might go broke. Like,
Oh, there's going to
I
be
would get it.
several. Yeah,
I would
yeah.
get it. Like, he just looks
He
so
looks so good.
good,
He translates so.
and
He looks a lot different. I'm
mhm.
glad you kind of mentioned the way he looks. He looks a lot different than Gore does in the comics. Again, we should have pulled up an image, but whatever. He looks a lot different than he does in the comics, and to me, that's okay as long as we can clearly identify that this character is blah blah blah.
Gore.
Gore for this case, I think that it's fine. I think it's going to be fine. These comic readers that it's going to say, "Well, it's not comic book accurate." I'm like, really? Because Hugh Jackman was like what 6'4" or whatever, and Wolverine in the
Mhm.
comics was 5'6", 5'8". So yeah, get out of here with that, or maybe even short. I don't know. So get out of here with the comic accuracy stuff. Sometimes that gets a little way in over our heads. I mean, I've done it. I'm sure you've done it. I'm sure you watching this
Yeah,
have
for
done it.
sure.
But we gotta get that out of the way. I don't care. He looked awesome. He did, dude. The one word that can come to mind of all the scenes. I mean, you got him, like you said, when he's taking off that hood, when he's what does he tell? We're assuming he's talking to Thor, but I think he's talking to Valkyrie when he says, "I've killed many gods before, but you're different," or something like that. It didn't really. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it clearly showed who that was, but I don't know. It looks like you got a thought. What do you think?
I thought the same thing. I thought that he was not talking to Thor. I think he was talking to Valkyrie. And hear me out. I just like if you look at Jane So whenever we do our little scorecards, this is going to be one of the questions on it. So for me, I do think that he's going to come in and kill Zeus. I love Russell Crowe, but at the same time, man, I feel like you said, in order to set him up as a huge villain, they're gonna have to do something. So I feel like that's the most logical thing to do. Now, I could be wrong.
I cannot wait to see this movie. That is certainly the main thing that we took away from this was how because all a trailer does it's a marketing tool used by corporate entities to get you to buy or invest in their product. In this case, a movie trailer. They're wanting us to buy tickets. So yes, they're going to put out the best trailer possible. And what a trailer is supposed to do is move our excitement level. You know, that needle. How far did that needle go as far as excitement go? Or did it kind of make you feel the same? For me, dude, it's now skyrocketed. I've once Taika Waititi came out at San Diego Comic Con and got on one knee and held Mjolnir up to Natalie Portman. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of like, so they're going this route with Thor 4? Okay, sure, let's see how it goes. Then the more I thought about it and the more time went on, I'm like, okay, I could be down for this because I've always been a fan of Natalie Portman. Black Swan, just stands out as one of my favorites by her. I mean, she's just such a good V for Vendetta. She's
V for
just
Vendetta, that was going to
dude.
be mine.
It was it such a good actress and you know Academy level. You know, and you know as time went on, I'm like, okay, you know, and I kind of changed my tone on it, and then seeing her in her full Mighty Thor glory, I'm like, okay, I'm sold on Mighty Thor now. I'm sold. And
Hmm.
then we get that first trailer. It's awesome. You know, I get sold on Mighty Thor. And then we get this. Got a couple images, but then we get this, and I'm like, dude, I can't tell you how excited I am. I had a lot of hype going in Multiverse of Madness, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I may say that I'm more excited for this film than I was that film. And I'm gonna go a step further. And again, could be wrong, haven't seen the movie, but I think Love and Thunder is going to be a better, I think it's going to be the best MCU film that we've had, oh, probably since Endgame. I really do. No Way Home was great. I liked Eternals, very divisive. A lot of people didn't like it. I did. I thought it was a very, you know, risky film to make as far as how they told that story and the nature of the story. But, you know, all the Marvel Disney Plus shows to have come out, they've been kind of mediocre, at least other than Moon Knight and WandaVision. The end of Moon Knight, not so much, but the first 5 episodes of Moon Knight, all of WandaVision was great. Multiverse of Madness, very divisive among fans, audiences, and critics. But this movie, dude, I really do. I think this is going to be the best MCU film that we've had in a while. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think this is something that's you know? Do you think that's the case? Do you think that there's a lot writing into this film as far as excitement goes? What do you think?
Um, I think that we're both in agreement on that. I really liked Multiverse of Madness, but I like Sam Raimi. Like I said, I like horror films.
Right.
So whenever I went into it, I was just like, yeah, this is it. My wife, not so much. You know, she was just like, I can see why they said it was a horror film. But, you know, um, going into that, like I am more excited about. I can say right now, I'm more excited about the Thor: Love and Thunder than I was for Multiverse of Madness or No Way Home. Like, I was so excited for No Way Home just because I was like,
I'm actually surprised we didn't get a ticket announcement going on sale. I mean, we're creeping up in June here in a couple weeks, and then the film comes out, I think, the first week of July. So it's creeping up on us. I'm pretty excited. Do you have any final thoughts on the trailer or any? I think as it gets closer, we'll do a final, prediction video and kind of what going in. But talking about just the trailer, is there any final thoughts that when you're in that you want to kind of shout out here?
man, just like you, I'm just so excited for this film. Can't wait to see it. I think that everybody else is in the same boat. I just don't want people to per se overhype it too much. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to enjoy a film. Whenever I go in, I
Yeah.
want to enjoy it and just let the surprises take me over.
Just
You know what
let
I
it
mean?
go.
Like, because you experience it. It's a movie is an experience to me, and you just want to go in and experience everything naturally and not, you know, people overthink things too much. I think we as fans sometimes do that. I'm guilty of it. I know you're guilty of it. We overhype things in our own minds
We
and
do.
set these standards that we just can't, you know, fulfill
Right.
always. So, I want to go into this film just like everybody else and just like be
Just trust
so
Taika
stoked.
Waititi. Trust Kevin
Yeah,
Feige. Yeah. I
trust.
mean, I mean,
Yeah,
we've yet to have a. I mean, it's all subjective. Don't get me wrong, but we've yet to have a. As a collective mind, as a general consensus, we've yet. I mean, you can argue Eternals was the first flop, but what does it mean by flop? I mean, it came out during a middle of a pandemic, but it did have a Rotten Tomato score. So I don't know, man. I don't, to me, that has a lot of disclaimers attached to Eternals, just my personal opinion. But I
me
think you
too.
agree with me that there is yet to be a flop like all across the board.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, I
yeah.
totally agree. I just think that like,
So we,
Eternals, like you said, came out during a
yeah,
pandemic, but I don't think a lot of people understood Eternals because there wasn't anything like this. The world wasn't open.
there
They were
was
just,
no pre-existing hype. You had
correct.
to introduce what is it? I think it was 11 main characters in that movie. So
Right.
quite a
Yeah.
bit. I mean, Chloe Zhao, I think she done the best she could. I think that was a great movie, but you're right. I think the difference in going into a movie like Eternals, which is more of an original IP, even though it's in the MCU, and then, you go into Thor number 4. And yeah, I mean, yeah, the excitement's obviously going to be there. I mean, we all love Thor. I mean, how I still contend to this day, at least, I mean, every theater's different, but in my personal experience, going to watch Avengers Infinity War, I've seen all the MCU films in the theater, and seeing Thor show up in Wakanda during the Wakandan battle with Thanos' army, that was a bigger pop in the theater than it was Captain America wielding Mjolnir. And that was one of the best excitement pops I've ever heard. But I'm telling you, Thor arriving and just the way that the timing of that scene and everything. So don't tell me, I'm not saying you're doing this, but to all these people be like, oh, just people are just excited to see a female Thor. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm one of those people, but don't be one of these people saying no one's excited because, dude, that pop had more excitement and more volume than any pops in Endgame, and that was just a pop fest. I mean, through and through. So
Uh-huh.
I don't know, man, but dude, we've talked about this forever. I can't wait. You can't wait. We're going to be talking about this for a long time to come. And
Yeah.
the movie's just coming up, and tickets are going to go on sale soon. I think the box office is going to be pretty huge. This is the first, normal year since, pre-COVID. So it's going to be interesting to see how this summer lineup is going to go. We got Top Gun Maverick coming out soon. Got a lot of great content coming out this summer. I mean, we got Stranger
Uh-huh.
Things dropping. Like I said, Top Gun Maverick. I know you're excited for Stranger Things and Top Gun. We'll talk
Love
about
it.
that another time. Got a lot of good MCU projects coming out. Got Obi-Wan this week. So excited for Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
Definitely doing a video on that. So you guys just stay tuned for that. But thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for watching this video. The important thing is, what did you think about this trailer? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you like the stupid helmet like I did? Just leave your comments down below. And Wesley, where can people find you, my friend?
Guys, thank you very much. You can find me at West Rathbone 86 on Twitter. Please like, comment on the video, what you think. What did you guys like about the video or the trailer that we watched and everything? But man, I'm so excited. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys. You can find Wes down there below on Twitter, and you can find our TikTok. The Usual Skeptics going to be posting some videos on there. I've been Gabriel Reed. This has been Usual Skeptics, and you can find me here at Voice of Film, Twitter, and TikTok. Thank you so much, and we will see y'all in the next video.